Joined right now by Kevin Hurley. He's a former detective chief superintendent at the Met Police and joins us to talk all things, criminal right now. A very good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. I've got a lot to get through. Can we talk about cannabis? Big discussion on the show yesterday, actually, about cannabis, where we've had, of course, Sadiq Khan, the London mayor, say he thinks that cannabis should be downgraded from basically a Class B drug to basically have it decriminalised for personal use, for possession, not for dealing it, not in producing it. But actually, we've had a rebuke for him from a policing chief who's actually said no, cannabis should be upgraded to a Class A drug because of the harm it can cause. This is David Sidgwick. He's Dorset's police and crime commissioners, and he says that Sadiq Khan is completely wrong on that front. Whose side are you on, or another side entirely?
I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle.
Where we are right now, Class B drug.
Yeah. I mean, the question is what's Sadiq Khan's motivation? From what I read, his motivation would appear to be a certain group within the London community, which essentially African Caribbeans, come into contact with strife with the police because of their misuse of cannabis, which causes police to stop and search them. My point on that is obey the law and it won't be a problem.
Is this a problem? Met Police apparently stopping more young black people because they're using the reason stroke the excuse of you smell of cannabis. We've got therefore reason for stop and search. But the statistics suggest that actually white people and black people use cannabis at the same level. So, but more black people are being searched for it.
I mean, while I'm on that subject, I think this is much more interesting in some ways. It's a fact that in the last 15 years, stop and search by the Metropolitan Police on black males has dropped to 1/6 of what it was once before.
Yeah.
And the net result of that is the carnage we see on our streets now with black kids killing each other. Now, back to where we were, one of the things that a lot of people don't realise about cannabis, that excessive use can produce psychosis.
Yeah.
So we do get quite a lot of incidents within London of psychopathic behaviour of people who are extreme cannabis users. So there is some truth in the fact that it's a damaging drug.
Yeah, I think that's a massive issue that's often overlooked. People think of it as just some sort of, just a few people sort of sitting around smoking dope. It's not. That's certainly not the kind of drugs a lot of people are using.
I mean, Julia, do you know, the real thing is, and you've heard me say this before and a number of other people who've come on who've been in the business for years, the issue is you can tinker around with the laws as much as you like. When the prisons are completely full to capacity as they are, probation is completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Court cases are backed up by years, and the police are hemorrhaging experienced staff. There's no point tinkering with all these laws. It's window dressing.
Yeah, and also again, they're not enforcing the law as it currently is. Well, this is an interesting thing. Some people say you're going to tackle the organised crime gangs by legalising the drug. Lots of time we were talking to people on the show yesterday talking about legalising all drugs even, and taxing it and even regulating it and the like. But it's interesting. Organised criminals will always find a new way of making money, and it's interesting. We've got a talk exclusive today about fly tipping becoming the new county lines as crooks are cashing in on the waste racket. And basically we've got record levels of fly tipping. Basically it's industrial scale, and gangs are making millions a year. They go and pick up lorry loads of rubbish, charge people for it, and then they don't pay to go and take it to the dump or dispose of it themselves. They literally just dump it by the sides of roads, often in the countryside. It looks awful. It costs a fortune to be cleared up, and these people are making millions, it seems, and no one seems to do anything about it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I live in the worst affected borough of the worst affected county in the country, which is Elmbridge in Surrey, and the reason is because the A3, the M3 and the M25 all go round it.
Yeah.
The London, and these are organised criminals.
Yeah.
It's not
some random bloke doing a bit of work on his home and then he's got a few bin bags and he just puts them in the countryside. They're paying. They're being paid by people to take their rubbish away.
Sure. And of course, the problem with it is it's falling through the cracks of enforcement, because when we've got a situation we've already discussed where police are not in a position to deal with drug misuse, They don't turn up to your burglaries. They don't investigate your mobile phones. You know, they take ages to turn up because they're so overwhelmed. And I keep on going back to the prisons are full, so the police are doing some work, whatever anyone says. But the bottom line on this is very difficult to detect. And the only way you can deal with this is to put dedicated teams on this. When I was Police and Crime Commissioner for Surrey, one of the first ones, we actually started to get a dedicated fly tipping team going. But you need to apply the same kind of resources to this as you would do to organised criminals. So you need to put covert cameras in known locations, surveillance, dedicate officers to stopping vehicles. Have you got a trade waste removal licence?
But again, a lot of people would wonder, is that a priority? When, I mean, again, but you mentioned people, you know, police not going to burglaries and the like. But a new study by a fintech company, Nuke from Orbit, they revealed that they believe that 1 in 3 UK adults have been the victims of phone theft, now up from some like 17% or something back in 2023. I mean, that's extraordinary.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and it's all of you know. If you look at London, when shifts change over in each borough, the open incident list for 999 calls that are not being dealt with is shocking. They'll hand over 20 and 30 calls in some areas because they simply haven't got the resources. And the problem with it is, as legislation's been introduced, people have become more litigious. Police have been forced to take officers away more and more from basic frontline activity. Every time we get a child abuse case that's gone wrong, then they put resources into it. And we're in a vicious circle, Julia, and this is a key thing. The detectives are really struggling for 2 reasons. One, no one wants to be a detective anymore in London and most of the other police forces because it's too much career risk that you get the blame. And secondly, they are hemorrhaging out once they've got their accreditations, they've got some experience, because the private sector wants them to investigate frauds and so on, which the police can no longer do. So you're in a kind of vicious circle all the time. So the fly tippers aren't being caught because there's not enough traffic officers or response officers out there to do it. The local authority enforcement teams have all been cut down. It comes down to government needs to decide, are they going to keep us safe or are they going to keep wasting money on not dealing with illegal immigration properly? Are they going to keep paying benefits to people who are perhaps defrauding the exchequer and so on? I sound like I'm right.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's a question of those priorities. Kevin Hurley, we've covered a lot of ground there. Very much appreciate you joining us. Former Detective Chief Superintendent of the Met Police there. Thank you for that.